Hi everyone, this is my first video and I'm doing this for Rita. I'm actually showing you today how to add a brim to a hat. And I learned this technique from a friend that's legally blind, and it's worked for me for the last 9 years or so. So I hope that this works for you, Rita, and hoping you get this and that I'm a great teacher and showing you how to add this on. So what I'd like to do is just show you the hat that I've already completed, the beanie. And what I'm going to be doing is just adding the brim to the already made hat. Don't ask me why this screen keeps doing this, but I guess I should stay right here. But as you can see, it's an already made brim, already made hat, beanie. So what I do is I actually determine like where I want my brim first. Considering that this is an adult hat, I always look for the front of the hat and actually determine how wide I want the brim. My husband usually likes his brim pretty wide, so usually my brims are from here to here, and it kind of just depends on how wide you want it. You can use the same technique on a child, but it probably would take you measuring the baby's head or kind of determining what's too wide of a brim for a kid, if you understand what I mean. So anyways, with that being said, I'm going to move forward and begin to show you what I do in adding the brim and how I do that, okay? So the brim's already made, so what you're going to do is join, and I'm using a lighter color yarn. This is a black brim, this is light gray, and I use a lighter color yarn just to show you kind of how it's done so you can see the difference between the stitches or whatever when I'm doing them. But what I'm doing is I've determined where to add the yarn. In this case, you would want to determine where exactly the middle part of the brim is. Okay, so in this case, this is the middle of my hat. This is the middle of my hat. So I usually count 5 stitches over from the middle of the hat. So let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 5 there, but I'm going to count them to my right. So the middle of the hat, you're going to count 5 stitches to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry, that was the back, so I'm going to turn it around and then go from here. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll just join the yarn. Oops. And you're going to be working on the inside, so it's like on the right side of the hat. So you're going to turn it where you're working. The needle should be like on the outside of the hat. So I'm going to join the yarn inside the hat. And I don't know if you tie or how you actually add your stitches on there, but I usually tie mine in. So when you add, you're just going to be pulling up that yarn in there, and then you're going to chain. In that same stitch where you joined the yarn, you're going to do a half double crochet. I choose half double crochet because it is it's between the single and the double, and it's just a stitch that I love. So you can choose to do single crochet or double crochet, whatever best for you, but the half double crochet works for me. So like I said, you're going to do a half double crochet in that same stitch. And then what you're going to do is you're going to complete 9 half double crochets across. So let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so you should have a total of 10 half double crochets across. So once you've gotten to the 10, you're going to turn. You're just going to turn it around, and you're going to skip that first stitch, and then you're going to do half double crochets across. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And it's very important that you do make sure that you complete it all the way to the end, because that's going to help determine the brim. Okay, so now we're on our second row. We're getting ready to do the most important part of adding the brim to the hat. So in that first row, we're going to do a half double crochet. So it's almost like you're doing a half double crochet in that first stitch of the first row. Okay, and then you're going to do half double crochets in the next 2 stitches of the hat. So let me back up here to make sure that you understand where that is. So here's the first row. I've just done the half double crochet in there. So here's the brim. See my finger sticking through that? So that's where we're going to add 2 half double crochets in the next 2 stitches of the hat. What this does is it actually just sets the foundation of the brim and have more of a rounded type of brim instead of the square. I don't prefer the square, so this is why I do it this way. So once you have the 2 half double crochets there, you're going to turn again, skipping the first stitch, and you're going to do a half double crochets all the way across. We're actually going to continue this manner until we get to the desired brim, but I want to just show you and complete it all the way through, you know, what it looks like. Okay, not to forget that every time you get to the end of each row, you're going to half double crochet in the previous row. So in this case, since we're in the third row, we're going to do a half double crochet at the end of the second row, and then again at the end of the first row, and then adding 2 more half double crochets to the brim on the hat. So you should have it looking like this right about now. Okay, so we're going to turn again, skipping that first stitch again, half double crochet across. And if you're not really sure what a half double crochet is, you could always find a book or Google it or something like that. But basically, you're just wrapping the yarn once and then pulling through all the loops at one time. So I'm completing the half double crochets on the 4th row. And again, the size of your brim is going to depend on the hat itself, the size of the brim. Now, going back in, I'm half double crocheting in those previous rows, and all you need is 1 half double crochet in those rows. Again, I'm going down to the brim, the hat, excuse me, and half double crocheting again. 2. So each time you get to the end, you're going to add 2 more stitches just by dipping down into the hat itself and adding 2 more stitches, okay? Sorry, I'm a little itchy this morning. Turning again, working on the 5th row, skipping that first stitch, you're going to half double crochet across again. And when I get to this, I'm going to show you kind of how that rounded look has on the brim. It looks really great. It's more of a natural. I probably, in this case, I'm using an I hook, but I meant to find my H hook, or you can use a G. It's better to use a smaller needle, honestly, when you're doing the brim. That way, you know, the stitch is a little bit tighter. Okay, so I'm coming around to the end.